Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
What Obama wants you to worry about is cyber vandalism, fake cyber attacks, fake cyber false flags. That's what Obama is concerned about. That's what's going to allow him to bring in this new reign of tyranny over the internet. And surprise, surprise, Obama is talking about the recent Sony hacks as well as the very convenient hacking of CENTCOM yesterday as a push for more cybersecurity. Obama said, with the Sony attack that took place and with that Twitter account that was hacked by Islamist jihadist sympathizers yesterday, it just goes to show how much more work we need to do, both public and private sector, to strengthen our cybersecurity. Now, he unveiled this proposal today. This is going to increase sharing of information on cyber threats from the private sector with protection from liability. The measure will also criminalize the sale of stolen financial data and will require companies to notify consumers about data breaches. So of course, those are good things, but let's focus on the fact that they're going to be now sharing information. Companies can easily share all of our information with government agencies very easily without a warrant, and they don't have to fear being sued by any civilians who might feel that they violated their constitutional rights. And it's getting so ridiculous now. They can just throw out any false flag out there, hack themselves, hack their own Twitter account, and then it's a new cyber vandalism, and then calling out for more laws, more government agencies to oversee this. Meanwhile, all of these agencies are already put in place. We already have massive NSA surveillance, and it hasn't stopped a single terror attack, nor did it stop CENTCOM from being hacked. Now, once again, also, the terrorists they were monitored. The government agencies knew who they were, but yet terror attacks still were taken out. So what does this language basically mean? More data collection. The proposal is going to make it even easier for law enforcement and other agencies to collect your private information. And the new companies, of course, can share this data without worrying about violating your rights. Now, the Electronic Frontier Foundation revealed that this expanded information sharing poses a serious risk of transferring even more personal information to intelligence and law enforcement agencies. And they point out that this was something that the White House criticized CISPA legislation for in 2013. And the CISPA law was written so broadly that internet companies could share Americans' emails, text messages, and even files stored online with the feds. And of that, one of the key provisions of CISPA was that it was written notwithstanding any other law. This means that CISPA would have trumped privacy laws, all while granting companies the aforementioned immunity from any civil or criminal liability. So what Obama is proposing is the same exact thing, but just with a new name. It's like the high fructose corn syrup switch. They just changed it to some other word that means sugar that's highly toxic for you. This is the same exact thing. And of course, we pointed out yesterday this alleged CENTCOM hacking was very convenient. It happened at the same time that Obama was giving this speech on cybersecurity. And we were the only ones so far that have reported that Anonymous says that they traced back this hacker's IP address to Maryland, which is, of course, home to NSA and other things. But there is no other outlet reporting about that just yet. But what they are reporting here, this is from the Daily Beast, that the alleged ISIS hackers probably aren't that at all. Now, Daily Beast says that privately, defense officials told them that they were skeptical that this hacking was conducted by ISIS, but they said it was too early to say who actually carried out these attacks. Of course, it's not too early for Obama to use it to push for cybersecurity laws, but they said some of the signs that are leading them to believe that the jihadis are probably fake is that they followed a Twitter account, Andrew Jackson Jihad, which is a folk punk band from the American Southwest. And it also pointed out that they use the acronym ISIS. So they said, "I love you, ISIS." They put that up on the corner there when they hacked Twitter and YouTube. And according to a terrorism analyst and former FBI special agent, ISIS, while we might call it the Islamic State or ISIS here, ISIL by the United States, the group rarely uses that name. Members and supporters of the group rarely will call themselves ISIS. So this is something that is, they're thinking that it was probably just a ruse, someone going in and making this up. But of course, everything that they posted on Twitter was public information anyway. So they could have easily just cut and paste something from somewhere else and then just said that they hacked in, because I doubt CENTCOM would be attaching all of these files, including email addresses and home addresses of top officials, retired officials, to their Twitter. So that doesn't even really make sense. But of course, why does CENTCOM and the CIA and all these other agencies even need social media? Well, the better to propagate to you, my dear, and of course, the easier to pull off these false flag cyber hacks, so they can call it cyber vandalism, and of course, take away our freedoms. And this is exactly what economist Martin Armstrong warned. He said that these twin attacks in France are going to be used by world leaders to push for restrictions on internet privacy and the total elimination of encrypted communications. And he points out that David Cameron is already saying that he wants to block WhatsApp and Snapchat if he wins the next election. This is part of his plans for new surveillance. And Britain is, of course, hand in hand with the NSA. And when the attacks took place in Paris, these NSA talking heads came out basically smiling and just so pompous, saying, of course, the French are going to come to us immediately and ask for whatever information we have, because we have all this sweeping surveillance. And you see how it's a great thing, and it's great that we're spying on you because it's for your safety. Now, don't ask us why we didn't actually stop any of these terror attacks, but, we need more surveillance. Now, former Democrat and Senator Joe Lieberman takes it a step further. He basically says, taking it to the pages of Wall Street Journal, calling for a global war on Islam. Lieberman writes that the inspiring unity that filled the streets of Paris on Sunday in defense of freedom must be transformed into the mighty unity that is necessary now to defeat radical Islam before it kills more people and takes away more freedom. Now, let's just point out that it's not the Islamic radicals that want to take away our freedom. It's the tyrannical governments who are taking away our freedoms, and their mainstream media minions who bow down to the demands of terrorists and refuse to post cartoons because they don't want to be offensive. Meanwhile, they'll post beheading videos and videos of a policeman being shot while he's begging for his life. So that's what's actually taking away our freedoms. But I digress. Lieberman says that nations must exploit the outrage produced by terrorist attacks to officially declare war. His selective war against Islam calls on the United States, France, and other nations to form and lead a global alliance against radical Islam, calling on Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Egypt, to name a few. He says because they have such a huge Muslim population there who don't share the extremist views of these terrorists. And Kurt Nimmo here in this article points out how Saudi Arabia and the Gulf Emirates, along with the U.S. military and the CIA, are directly responsible not only for the rise of the Islamic State, but also al-Qaeda and the Taliban. So he's basically calling on these people who are directly responsible for the rise of the Islamic State to fix the problem that they created. Problem, reaction, solution. So that's something that, we see again and again and again. But rather than starting another war to fix the problem that you created, here's a better response.
In wat ik noem de wij-samenleving. Ja, en als je het hier niet ziet zitten, omdat je humoristen niet ziet zitten die een krantje maken, ja, mag ik het zo zeggen, rot toch op.
So that was the mayor of Rotterdam speaking on live television just hours after the shootings in Paris, basically saying that it's incomprehensible that anyone could turn against freedom, but if you don't like freedom, for heaven's sake, pack your bags and leave. Now, we'll want to point out that the mayor, Mayor Abu Talib, grew up the son of an imam in Morocco, but he moved to the Netherlands in 1976. So here he's, saying that his fellow Muslims there aren't this is not what they agree with, but if you have a problem with freedom, pack your bags and hit the road. So take notes, Obama. ISIS or whatever radicalized group that the U.S. and others have created to do their bidding around the world, they're not the JV team. They are out here doing their own thing now, and it's time to stop being politically correct. It's time to start taking these hard stands like this, and it's definitely time to stop believing the propaganda that's being pumped out about these groups, to not speak up because then, you know, that's Islamophobia or whatever. This is the time to speak up. City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste.
Tastes like Austin water? Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.